I had been growing my hair out overall since like 2018, and I had locks for 2 years. So I was just like, I feel bald a little bit now. I got used to it. Now it's a little more grown out, but I look like a Poindexter for about a month.
It was a crazy drastic switch.
It was bad. But you know, I feel like I'm trying to be a little more professional, look a little more grown and shit like that. You know, wanna get a little more respect and shit like that. You know, did I look more respectable?
That feels racial.
Shut the fuck up, nigga. Shut the fuck up, nigga. Nah, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
That's how we started off.
It's
about to get real serious. Respectability, politics. This is the topic now, man.
Osei wants to get me caught up in the first 5 minutes of every episode. He's not off the hook though. I want to start with just talking about where you've been at, what you've been doing, Osei.
Yeah, so I live with Miles, and you know he's always concerned for my safety, but he hasn't seen me for like 48 hours. So.
I feel like a parent. Osei be going out the house at midnight. 1 a.m. Where you going, bro?
I'm just trying to link with my friends, bro.
I gotta wait up at the house. You know what I mean? I have the one light turned on. I'm sitting on the couch like, yo, so where have you been? What's going on?
It's
you know
actually
what I mean?
fun. That's actually super funny because like my mom literally does that.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up specifically, like she would always be up waiting when I was back. You know?
Right. No matter what hour I come back, because I'm thinking at a certain point, it's like, yo, I'm so late. Like I may be in trouble for being out this late, but my mom's gonna be asleep by the time I get home. Never that.
Would you have to like talk to her?
Well, so my dad was also part of these shenanigans.
Yeah.
So they would deadbolt like the top lock. So the only way I could get in the house is if I wake someone up who's already inside.
Oh, that's terrible.
So yeah, they had to come down, do the whole thing. It was bad. I learned to keep like change of clothes in the car in case I smelled like anything and all that.
Yeah, because my parents were always up too, but the real kicker was like, oh, like give me a hug goodnight. You know what I mean? I was straight until the hug. Because then, you know, if I've been smoking, I smell terrible. You know what I mean? That's when I first started getting caught up.
Exactly.
So I'm a fucking hug.
Got to keep the change of clothes. But yeah, where have you been? What have you been up to this weekend?
I've been out Thursday through now, bro. Through now. Thursday, went out with the Star Girls. Went to Tenants of the Trees, first time ever.
I love when you say Star
Tenants
Girls.
of the Trees.
Yeah, Tenants of the Trees. It's
What
in
does that
Silver
mean?
Lake.
You ever been there?
Never been there?
What is that?
It's lots of dyed hair, lots of baggy jeans, lots of Doc Martens, that type of vibe.
I love a good Doc Marten.
It's
hangout.
Osei's paradise.
Yeah, it was like, but you know when I said I saw like a million Spencers?
Yes.
Like I feel like if you lived in Silver Lake, that's what you would look like.
Yeah, I think I belong in Silver Lake. I think I'm a fish out of water over here.
For sure.
Stop.
I need a couple more like patch tattoos
No.
and like a few good corduroy hats.
Right.
Give me that one actually, and let me
You know
just
what
roll
I'm
to
saying?
Silver Lake.
I'm
yeah.
hipster adjacent.
Uh-huh.
I'm not all the way dived into the culture.
Yeah. Then I was at Dot on Friday. That joint was kind of dead though.
Okay.
But shout out Dot. I like that venue.
You know what I'm saying? The older crowd.
Older crowd.
Sophisticated
The young and
crowd,
sexies. Or grown and sexy. Sorry.
Young and
Grown man plus 30s.
30 plus.
What does the 30 plus hangout look like?
It's calm. I was going to say lots of Hennessy, but that's not what people drink anymore.
Like smooth jazz playing in the background type?
They play a lot of Jay-Z. They love Jay-Z out there. They love
Jay-Z
it.
at the function.
Nah, they love it. And they be dancing too, like on the tables and stuff. It's like, yes, real music is back.
Like 444 type shit?
Yeah,
Like,
that's how they feeling out
building
there.
their portfolio and shit like that?
Yeah, they also play a lot of Drake, surprisingly.
Okay, Mommy Drake. I be forgetting that these niggas are also damn near 40. So like that kind of makes sense a little bit, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah.
I need to try Dot again.
Mm-hmm.
The one time I went, my girl got in a fight with a girl in the line in the bathroom, and I had to like drag her out of there and like Uber us home. So it was a terrible experience.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the venue.
I was like, hey, look around. I don't think we're winning this fight.
Yeah, no, not at all. And then yesterday, where was I at? I went downtown, saw a few friends from back home. That was dope. Tried to bring Spencer on a 2-man. He didn't want to do it.
I was going to say, how did you feel? Like, I feel like you were trying to get a 2-man going and you didn't really have the homies or the people to do that. Like, I don't know. I feel like you got a lot of niggas in relationships around you.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because once in a while, like 2 or 3 girls just randomly appear in town. They want to go out. They want to have a good time. They want to meet my friends.
They randomly appear.
Just randomly, bro.
Yeah, they pop up out of
like,
nowhere.
I literally saw in her story that she was in LA, and then 5 minutes later, she hit me, hey, what's going on? Is there anything going on? Me and my friends want to go out. And it's like, I don't have anyone to really invite them with, you know? So it's just me, you know? Just playing the good guy role, drive there, you know, take a shot, you know what I'm saying? Take more shots. Oh, I actually drove here. Do you need a ride home? Oh, Inglewood? Yeah, that's like 15 minutes from the crib. Okay, drive them back, drop them off. Have a good night.
The standard play.
The standard play. But it's good. I met a few new people last night, so feel good about the night
Good,
overall.
good.
But yeah, I've been outside. I haven't been inside like for 48 hours probably.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, our guest can maybe run a 2-man with you. What up, y'all? Welcome back to the Stereo Vision podcast.
What is good? Episode 129.
Back at y'all, man. Happy to have an amazing guest. I'm going to introduce him last. I'm Miles. To my far left, I got Osei. To my right, I got Spencer.
Dirt.
And today, second guest of 2025, we have marketing extraordinaire, New Jersey native. He's done work for some of your favorite record labels and groups, Interscope, YSL, 300, Opium. We got KOJO in the building, man. How you living, dog?
Shout out to sound effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need like the flex bomb on there.
Oh, for sure.
We need
Yeah.
the big drop. We're learning the
Exactly.
soundboard still.
Yeah, I just got the
We're-
gunshot last week. I feel like
That's weak
When
as
they-
fuck right there. That's a weak.
we got the light gunshot. It's a
Yeah.
1950s gunshot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pow right in the kisser ass gunshot right there.
Pow.
Man, appreciate you coming through.
No
you
doubt, man.
you Osei's homie, man. How did y'all link up? How did you guys first meet?
Man, shit. I would say since like high school, like that's where we knew each other. You know, we went to the same high school.
Yeah.
I was like 2 years ahead of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess we just been in contact ever since, you know. Like we played on a few different like sports teams out in high school. Like in high school, we had like this recording studio. So at the time, I thought I was gonna be like making beats in the music industry. Like I was on the like producer end of things. Like I had like my MacBook, and then I had like a cracked FL Studios, and then I would just be in there like every weekend with like another like classmate of mine, Toye. And then like yeah, that's kind of like how I guess my interest first started in high school, and then we just started working, and then I guess we just had like similar interests, and then that's kind of how it started, you know.
You
Yeah.
give a producer vibe a little bit.
Me, I
can
guess
see
so.
it. I can see it.
Yeah, you and Eric Smith probably got me into music. Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember Eric Smith, I feel like from like actual music perspective, because I was a big Kanye fan, like
Man, that
probably
was like
my
yeah.
sophomore year, right?
Yeah, that was like the beginning of like the Chief Keef era, man. He was from
Yeah.
Chicago. He had the dreads and everything.
Yeah, this dude, Eric Smith from Chicago,
Yeah.
had like locks and shit and would just bump like Chief Keef, introed all the white kids to Chief
Yeah.
Keef. So like they were just in the lacrosse locker room just bumping that, you know what I
But
mean?
this was like really when Chief Keef was really like first blowing up. So this was like what, like 2011, 2012 or
Yeah.
something like that. And it was just like he was straight from Chicago. So we were just like championing him like super hard. And our school was like DMV like area. So at least the like kids we were hanging out with, they were all talking about like DC artists and stuff. And like he was always putting everybody up on that. So like it was an interesting time period for sure.
Mhm.
Fire, fire. Now, y'all talking about your high school experience like it's normal, but Osei
It's not
let me
normal.
know that y'all niggas went to boarding school.
Yeah, man.
So like to me, boarding school is something that only existed in like movies and TV shows. I didn't think that was real. I thought it was like summer camp, school vibes type stuff. What was that experience like?
Man, how many times have you talked about it on this podcast?
Never.
Never on the
Never.
pod. But
So
I told
you-
him outside in real life.
Yeah, you got to give us everything because this nigga has not told us nothing about what went down.
Right. I mean, so it was like for 4 years. It was a 4-year program
Mhm.
or like 4-year high school. And so like a lot of times when people talk about like boarding school, or when you bring it up, people think it's on some like disciplinary thing. It's like, yo, were you like bad or something? Like you had to go like sent to like a military school, but that never really was the case. You know, like people are like their kids are getting sent to these schools that are like $50,000-$60,000 a year. It's probably more now with like inflation or whatever, but it was like a 4-year high school. Like everybody lived there 100%. It was like Northern Virginia, Alexandria, Virginia. But like a lot of kids from like the deep South and like rich families and stuff like that. Like kids that got parents that were in politics, like businesses, like CEOs, stuff like that. So there was like a lot of kids from like all like different walks of life and like different like parts of the country. And so like I grew up in the suburbs and I thought I knew white people until I got there. And that was just like a different type of like,
There's a whole different breed.
yeah, white culture, just
For
like
sure.
money culture, stuff like that. So it was definitely like a culture shock, especially coming from like Jersey and then going to like what I thought was somewhat like Northern Virginia isn't really like Southern, but like you got kids from like the deep South, like old money type stuff, and then they're over there. So it was just like it was like a weird experience that just feels like a place of its in itself. It's like the Twilight Zone because it's like the culture of that school doesn't really match like the outside of like the campus. I don't know how you would describe it. You
No,
know?
these kids had bread, bro.
Yeah.
It was wild. And it's old money and they're from the South. So,
Yeah.
you know, you do the math on that.
Yeah.
But like, it was just one of those experiences where, like, similar to KOJO, I went to a pretty good public school, you know what I mean? And like there were definitely a lot of white people in the area. So I thought I knew. And I feel like stepping onto this campus, it was like I don't know, man. I think like when Trump got elected, like I understood the vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Because you just knew the vibes because it's like over there, like there would be kids having like Confederate flags in their like rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it was wild. It was,
so
it was
you
a
had to
wild
learn,
place.
that's when you were learning. It's like, yo, this is not hate, it's heritage. It's like that's dead ass like the excuse that they would have, or like their explanation of it. And so just like you just learn that type of.
Oh, so you like pull up to a nigga's like room, and you see like
it's
like they have it displayed.
Yeah, like their context to it is completely different because it's like it's just they're just coming from a different area, and plus like. Depending on where they like grew up and like the schools they went to, like it just taught differently. So just like it was definitely a culture shock. And if anything, just prepared me for like everything we seeing now, you know, just like it's no shock where people are just like flying those flags and stuff like that, you know? Yeah. It's like kind of just sets you up for, I don't know, the real world type stuff, you know?
Yeah, and the school was kind of with it too. Like they didn't really like ever put restrictions on shit like that. I think now that they're like way more like trying to be with the times and a little bit more liberal because they have a new like I was gonna say they have a new headmaster, which is like the word, but it's like but it's crazy. It's a crazy, but it's like
Hogwarts, bro.
No, it's a crazy term though. Headmaster's a crazy term, but that's really what it is. They have a new headmaster who's like way more with the times or whatever. But yeah, it was definitely old Southern traditional values, and I think it was reflected within the staff and within the community.
Yeah, it had like, it just had that vibe, you know, just like old boy type stuff. We had to wear like a uniform or type stuff where it was just like khakis, like boat shoes. It's like
I feel like you dress mad preppy. Mm-hmm. That's why it made sense to me when I was like, oh, you went to a boarding school with a uniform. I was like, I feel like that influenced your style a little bit.
Yeah, actually, I do like it because it's like we had to wear the khakis, a button down, and a tie. That was a uniform, and then for dinners, sometimes we'd have to throw in a blazer. And I always felt like that dress, like I kind of resisted it, right? For a period of time in my life because it reminded me of that time. And I was just like, it just felt like swaggerless, you feel me? And it felt like something I was
very
like
swaggerless, man.
Yeah.
I graduated, I went to college, I didn't know how to dress after leaving. And like I was rocking the same shit. I'm just like, damn, I feel like a bum.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
ass did not know how to dress after like graduating.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's something I like readapted later in life and just like tweaked a little bit. Cause like, bro, what they were wearing like wallabies and shit. Like those are a comfortable shoe.
Those are
you know what I'm saying? And like the bright colors and all that. I mean, low key, I don't know where that came from in like white culture, but that's like very Caribbean. So like adapting, like pulling from these different influences and like putting them together, but making them a little bit more swag, like the rugbies and shit that I be wearing. Like I feel like that was, I don't know, that's kind of my way of taking that experience and making it my own, you know?
What was Osei like in high school?
Man. It was funny. I mean, I was 2 years older than him. I mean, we were on like the same team. So like, it was funny. Like, it's weird to describe, but like, I guess he was kind of like, he was always, I feel like he's the same way that he is now. You know, he's like asking questions, trying to like get tapped into like whatever's good, you know? So like, he saw me like being in the studio and like that. And so he would just be in there on the weekends too and stuff like that. And then other than that, it's like, yeah, I felt like being like 2 years older than him, we would just be like messing with like the younger classmen and shit like that, you know? Like I remember him and his friend, like they had made a mixtape.
Oh, here we go.
So
was he rapping?
Yeah, he was rapping or like singing on it a little bit. Like,
shit.
And then like we were playing it in like the dorm room and like just like laughing at the shit. Like this was like our senior year and we were just like laughing, just clowning them, even though just like, you know, like everybody had their own like different things that they were into. Like I still have the video. It was just like from like Vine days, you know, so.
You have the video?
Yeah,
on your phone?
Yeah, we can like edit it in,
yeah,
you know?
we gonna need to see that for sure. Cause Osei is like, you know, Osei be doing his little cool vibe, you know. We even got to see all the goofy stuff like that. Cause did you try to make music at all ever?
Yeah.
Like you put, yeah.
I was never like rapping.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got music floating
I
around.
knew better not to rap, man.
Yeah.
Oh, say I can't make fun of you too because I tried it too.
No, for sure.
I definitely had my phase, and it is. I pray to God nobody has access to those files.
mean, you can
and
still
those
find
never ever get heard.
I mean, you can still find some of my shitty beats up on like SoundCloud, man, from all the way back then.
So you've always kind of been into the music thing, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, ever since I was like young, for real. Like I think the first time I ever tried making beats was even back in 2007, real unk status, you know? Like my dad had like a Sony Vaio, and like even back then, like I had Audacity and like, yeah, Fruity Loops. And again, I crashed that computer just getting like the torrented version of it. So I always felt like I always wanted to work in music, you know?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what made you kind of transition from making music to being on more the business side of things?
My grades were slipping in college, you know? Because like at first I was trying to do like music production, go to school for that, either at like a music program. I was trying to get into NYU, like their music program at Clive Davis. I did like the high school program, met a whole bunch of kids there. It was like summer entering my senior year or something like that. Met a whole bunch of people, learned a whole bunch of stuff. Then I tried to apply for like the 4-year program, didn't get in, but I ended up going to a business school, Babson College up in like the Boston area. So like at the time I was still trying to like make beats for like the first 2 years. I was going back to New York, just like linking up with some of the friends that I had met at that time, just trying to at least stay in touch with like the music scene there. But like my grades were slipping, had no money.
Yeah.
Like bank account was overdrawn, like ordering Domino's and shit. So just decided to just like focus on just like my grades and whatnot. And then just like by like my senior year, just ending up in internship at 300. And that kind of like led me on into like the behind the scenes stuff. But like, yeah, I was always just trying to figure out like a way in the door. And then like, I always liked business. And so I just wanted to enter in like on the behind the scenes wave, you know, instead of like the creative end.
Yeah, but you got to tell them how you even ended up at 300 because I feel like you just breezed over that.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean,
it's a cool story.
Yeah, I guess we could get into it. Yeah, so my school was up in like the Boston area, like Wellesley, Massachusetts. So like senior year, I had stacked up my classes like on Mondays and Wednesdays, I think.
Yeah.
Like all my classes was like 8 a.m. to like 2 p.m. And so like I ended up getting an internship at 300, just like heading into like the fall semester because I was just like DMing them, just trying to find a way, any way possible, right? And then there was this one time where it was like the CEO at the time, Kevin Laws, he was doing like this like Facebook Live, right? And just I was asking mad questions and I was just like, yo, how do I get an internship? And then he's like, yo, find Chelsea. I'm like, I don't know who the hell Chelsea is. So I go up on LinkedIn and I see that she like worked there. Like I tried DMing her messenger, like she didn't respond. And so like the summer goes by, I had an internship elsewhere. And then like, I guess they finally check their emails, they see it. And then I do the interview, like I get it. And then like, I'm just like, yo, even though my school's up in Boston, like I'm gonna do whatever it takes to like come in here and get this internship, da 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 da. And so yeah, I had stacked up my classes from like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then I just like was taking a bus like back and forth, like crashing at my sister's crib. So I would go in on that Tuesday and then just like be working in the office, like catch a bus like a couple blocks away, then like do my homework on that bus. I get back to campus probably like 11 or 12 a.m. or whatever, like at night or whatever. And then, yeah, just go to my classes the next day. Then like Wednesday, leave, go back into the city. Then like I'll be in the city from like, yeah, like Thursday and Friday. And then just like repeat the process. And I did that for like 2 semesters. And yeah, that's how I got like my foot in the door, like just interning, you know? So it was just like me just going back and forth between like New York and Boston, like my senior year.
Bro, I feel like that's just such
like the story.
That's an important thing to tell people though, because I think we glamorize working in the music industry, trying to do it, making this shit happen. And I think we all can attest to like, you got to do some kind of off the wall shit to even get your foot in the door in this shit and get an opportunity. And you do have to go above and beyond, push yourself at a very young age and be like, okay, if I really want to do this kind of extraordinary out of the box thing, my efforts and my ways about getting into this also have to be out of the box. I got to get creative sometimes. You got to take risks even.
Of course.
A lot of people wouldn't even take that leap.
Yeah. And like another thing too, was like that was during the time when it was still like a free internship. Like obviously now, like there's have been a whole bunch of changes. So like now that there is paid internships and within the music industry, but like that was all coming out of pocket until like eventually like they had found out and then like they had hooked it up and given me a travel stipend. And then that really helped a lot. But yeah, man, I was just like really committed to just like trying to like work in the music industry because like I wasn't really interested in trying to do the other stuff, you know? Like school where I was going to, a lot of kids were going into like accounting, like investment banking, consulting, you know, like what is it, like PwC,
Yeah.
all those type of stuff. And it was just like super dry to me, you know, like I remember my senior year, like I skipped class to go see like The Life of Pablo, like Yeezy season 3, you know? So
Wow.
just like, yeah, I would just like always focus on like music, you know?
Yeah. Shit. What did we skip? We skipped for Baby Keem. When we had tickets for Baby Keem, I remember having to email my professor like, "Hey,
Oh yeah. We're like, yeah, not coming.
this is a pretty rare opportunity. I'm finna go to this. I'm sorry, yo. I had no remorse though when I was skipping.
I think
class.
we skipped a lot of shit.
Senior year I was gone.
Yeah.
Senior year I think I used up all of my misses and all of my classes by the end of the first month.
Where were you guys going to school at?
LMU.
LMU?
Yeah, so we were out here, and I mean, we were at that point already kind of in it. I didn't even know that you could get an internship in music until I saw he got one. Like that opened my eyes to this whole shit. I did a similar thing to you where I did it was my second semester junior year. I did all of my classes on music.
Right.
I just knew I wanted to be around it. Like I was doing like venue marketing and shit like that, but it was a great opportunity because I did kind of get my foot in the door of like, okay, like this is how people make money off touring. This is why this kind of matters for them. Looking at the different venues, looking at where's like the low cap things and like these are the types of people that perform there versus like arenas, stadiums, all the other shit. So it was cool to get my foot in the door that way. But yeah, it was definitely, it was annoying having to do school on top of that as well.
What do you think helped more, like, for you to get your first real job in the industry, like that Live Nation internship, or like what we were doing on the side with the stereo vision shit? Because at the same time in college, we were just doing this, you know what I mean? But not really podcasting yet until junior year, but going to shows, interviewing artists, talking to anyone, you know?
I mean, what I wanted to do, like eventually being around artists and like doing A&R, I think that the stereo vision shit honestly helped a lot. Shout out y'all. Keep watching the channel, like, share, comment, subscribe, do the shit.
Yep.
But like I got to tell people like, no, like I talk to artists, like I'm around them. Like I've been to shows, I've been backstage. So like I think they knew that like I wasn't like a fanboy type nigga. I feel like that's like a death sentence in like this music shit. Like if people think you're gonna get around like bigger status, artists, executives, whatever, and become a fan, they're not gonna want to hire you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that was like real proof that, oh, this guy is normal and knows how to act around these people. I don't think I would be anywhere where I am without stereo vision, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it shows I think it shows the hustle too. Because like you were catching the bus, you know, that like you tell that story and you're like, oh, this guy, like this was bound to happen.
Exactly.
There was no other way that this was written. Like he's gonna be like a superstar in the industry. And I think you see the same when you see our hustle. Like
Exactly.
like honestly throughout college, like the internship shit was shit that's like other people were doing. You know what I mean? Like we did have to grind for that, but I think like the extra hours on this, I think just signaled to potential employers, hey, they want to do this pretty bad.
I felt crazy though, because I was talking to people, like you said, like it was like, oh, like I'm going to do this like accounting internship, or like I want to go do this stable job. And I was like, oh, I do a podcast. I hope it works out one day. And like I think I want to work in music, but I don't make music.
No, it was definitely stressful, you know, like last couple of months of school and everybody getting their jobs or whatever, you know, like some of them like graduating with jobs that are like $80,000 and like a bonus or whatever. And it's like, damn, man, it's like, I'm over here just like, just taking the go bus. It's like still broke, just like, but it all paid out, you know?
I think you had a lot of foresight too, because I remember something you told me, like, I was talking about when I first, you know, started working with you and Kevin, like, I was talking about maybe wanting to do A&R, like doing different things and trying different things. I was in a bunch of different meetings, just off the strength of like the position I was put in as an intern. And you were like, I'm paraphrasing, but you were like, honestly, you should stay in digital. Like, this is the future. Like, everything's going to be digital. And I think like 3-4 years later after that statement, I can already see where all this is headed. I mean, we're on here doing a podcast. Like, I'm streaming every Saturday. Like, I think that digital marketing is not only the future, but it's now. It's like, it's the only thing that people are even really hiring for right now in the music industry.
Yeah, exactly. So even when like I was first starting out, like, I wanted to be an A&R too. Like I was interested in A&R because like, I wanted to be close to the music, try to like make hits, you know. Had that old kind of like references of like what the music industry was, where it's like, oh, it's like the A&R finding the artist and like work with them. And like I was getting like my experience doing that during my internship, but I was also like doing the marketing because that was also of interest in what I was like majoring in at school or studying at school. And I mean, like kind of got my foot in the door in digital, and it just kind of came natural because it's like always online, just like was a young kid in the office, you know, just like the internet kids. It was just like SoundCloud was really starting to take off. Like it was like 2016, 2017. So it was like at that time, it wasn't like how it was now, you know? So just like a lot of the early stuff of like getting my foot in the door was really just like showing like what this new wave was about to be, you know? Cause it's like at that time, it was just like still like the old guard of the industry where it was just like, it was just like press and like radio and all the, like I think they even had like the reboot of TRL floating around. So it was just like, it still had like essence of like that 2000s, 90s era. And like streaming was still like, still becoming its thing, but like I feel like post-pandemic things have definitely shifted in a different like energy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like digital is everything now.
I was about to say, you might have made those. There's days, weeks when I'm like, yo, y'all made the right decision. This A&R shit is just tiring, bro. And like it is different because when I talk to you about it, I'll say like there's kind of like a vetting process almost. Like everything that you're working on and that you guys are touching is a signed artist that is like really gonna be something. You have a team behind them, there's a plan behind them, there's an infrastructure, big or small, around these people to be like, okay, you have a legitimate chance to exceed. Sometimes when I go into work, I'm like, I feel like I'm pulling shit out of thin air. And it is very, very stressful. But then what I also like about what you guys is you're telling a story. Like you're connecting a lot of dots for fans about who these people actually are, who these musicians actually are. And for you specifically, you've told the story of so many people who are like, I don't think the full story of them is always out there, or there are these perceptions of these people out in like the media that are really wrong. And you get to kind of provide more context to who the human being behind the music is. And you started out around like YSL.
Yeah,
What was
just
that?
like 300, all the artists,
What was it like kind of seeing the early days of something like YSL 300, all of that like getting built?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was like in there like super early because it's like it was already a thing at the time, you know. I mean, I was like a fan of Thug like in college, you know. Like at the time, it was just like when he first came out, it was like hookah and all that stuff was like starting to blow up. Like Lifestyle, I think was like my freshman year, and so it was just like,
what was everyone's first Young Thug song? I think mine was Hookah too.
Yeah, it was like hookah that was like blowing up. I'm just like, damn, what the hell is this?
It was hookah.
Yeah,
or Power.
I think mine was
Power,
Digits.
like-
I was a little later.
I saw the Power video when he was on the hoverboard. That shit was fire. Like, continue.
Yeah, but I mean, like I got in the door, and so like I think what was like the project that they were working on? It was like it's like Jeffrey. That was like what I got my like foot in the door when that like album was coming out. That was like when my internship first started, you know. And so like I think the first event was like the release party at like the YouTube space in like New York. And so like he walks in, and then like it's just like Lior is greeting him, and like Kevin's greeting him. I think Elliot Wilson was there too, just like doing the interview pieces for him. But I mean, like just being in that environment and just like that was like my first like album release party, and just like seeing everything and like the artists in there and just like the fans, and just like I think that really like clicked in my head. It was like, damn, I want to be doing this like for real, you know. But damn, I'm trying to think. So like that was like the first introduction into it, you know. It was like the Jeffrey album, but like I don't even know where to begin. I felt like things really started to pick up when like Gunna started like blowing up. You know, I feel like YSL was always a thing, but like as a label, like being there like early on, it really started to form when like Gunna was like blowing up during like it was like both him and Lil Baby were blowing up at that time, and then seeing like that come together and like everybody, even like I think like my internship had already ended, but that was like when I think. Can't remember the album. Was it like Drip or Drown?
Yeah.
Like one of them was like out there, or just like Drip Season 2 or whatever. And then like Keed was like blowing up. You know, he was just like coming about. And like the first Slime Language came out when I was like full time there after like my internship, and that was really like the first couple of projects I was working on. But at the time, I don't think anybody really was like tied into like what was going on with the whole like YSL like label as a thing until like all the artists started to take off. It was like Keed. Like Nameless popped off, and then you go into like 2019, and then like Gunna had like his moment, And then Key really started to blow up. He had like a couple songs go crazy. And then just seeing just like the culture around it really just develop and just like grow outside of like that pocket of like Atlanta, you know, because like I'm from Jersey, like was growing up in the East Coast or whatever, but just like seeing the culture, just like the slang and like the way that they dress really start to impact culture on like a wide scale. It's just like being able to be a part of that and like playing a small role, even though it was like digital, just like moving around the content, stuff like that. I thought that was really real where I felt like I learned a lot, you know, just like helping build a brand, helping build up like the fan base community.
Yeah.
And then just like seeing that just like impact culture, just seeing like white kids say slat, just like wipe your nose or whatever. It's just cool to see just like a rap posse and like that just like emerge in that space, you know, because like growing up, you just like listening to like ASAP Mob, or even back then it was like G Unit or like whatever the crews were back then. But it was just like, it was cool to be a part of something that was for that era, you know, just like everybody was rocking like green or whatever. Like it was the Snakes and all that, you know, it was just like a really powerful movement at the time, you know, and like the music really carried
incredible.
Yeah, staying right there on Gunna and that success. Like you talk about building a fan base
Right.
and like influencing culture. What were like some specific strategies you remember that the label took to kind of really fuel that fire?
Man, so much to like try to address or like try to like speak on. I feel like the main thing that really helped with like the whole like YSL stuff was like the Instagram page for real. We had like there was this page that was like Thug was managing that like he was using as like the YSL page, and then there was like this other fan page that was started by like some French guy.
Nice.
It's like a white Frenchman that's never been to America, but he was like super tapped in.
He
And so
loved
like,
Young Thug.
yeah. And so like I was seeing like the way he was like curating the page, and it only had like a couple thousand followers at the time, and like got in contact with him, and like we started working with him to like kind of like help like grow the page. And then that fan page eventually like became like the official page of like the label. And like we just continued to grow it and just like showcase like the roster of artists across it. And like that page became so influential where like big name like designers like Virgil was following it, like artists were following it, like sports athletes were following it. And so like that was just like its own like media platform in itself at the time to even just like help kickstart like artists' careers, because it was just like didn't have to go pay like however much money it was back then to get like a post up on WorldStar, because like the right post on that page would have like set off like a snowball effect where like other pages were picking it up, you know, like OGM was just starting off at the time. So like a good viral post on there would just like get picked up across the pages. So like it was a good kind of like launching pad to just get visibility across the artists. And then from there, it just like really just focusing on the digital of just like presenting the artist, you know?
Yeah.
And I felt like that was like the first starting place of really cultivating the community of like listeners that listen to not just Thug, but like Gunna, Keed, and all the artists under it. And then just like making them like having a home for them to like follow and keep up to date with all the stuff that was going on with all the artists, you know?
Yeah, the fan page is interesting because it's almost like you kind of have to teach these people how to be fans of these artists.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you need to tell them what you wear if you're a fan of YSL, how you talk, like lifestyle things.
Right.
It's community.
And it's not
Lifestyle.
always best coming from the artist.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they can do that, but it's almost better to have like a page like that and a ringleader to just really, hey guys, this is how we're gonna support this group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and another thing too is like artists don't always want to like post too much, you know, or feel like too promo-y. So it's just like, it's good having like another page where like all that stuff could fly and it could be like better for messaging and just talking directly with fans. So, I mean, I think that was like one of the key pieces in the beginning to just like kind of, start building that fan base and just like really showcasing the lifestyle of the artist, you know?
Yeah.
It was just Young Stoner Life TV for real. Like,
Yeah. I don't want to backtrack too much, but I feel like the context is important. So YSL is already a thing before you come in.
yeah.
But it's really just Thug. Like obviously like Yak and Duke were
all of
you know
them.
part of it.
His sisters
But
and all that.
yeah, but Gunna like had just started dropping music and wasn't really as obviously not as
Yeah.
hot as he is now.
Yeah.
And when you came in, they were really building up the label. So like were you working Slime Language 1?
Yeah, Slime Language 1, that was like a project that I was on. And so that was like a very fun project, even though it wasn't like super crazy successful. Like There was this one person that worked there, Shah. She had this idea of like, she worked at PR at the time, of like sending out snakes to the different like press outlets, and that like got a whole bunch of buzz, you know.
Like real snakes.
Real snakes. So like
Oh,
you sent it out to
shit.
No, it
Complex.
was crazy.
I would have been hot.
Yeah, so like we sent it out to like a whole bunch of different like press partners and stuff like that. And like that was when I was just first started like working, you know, and like we had interns like putting together like the snake boxes that were going out to like press people.
Oh my God.
And like that made a whole bunch of noise, you know, and I felt like again it was just like having an artist that had like an idea of what their branding was and like the different elements and like motifs and stuff like that, the symbols and all that, where like the people at the label could just like latch onto and then just like extrapolate those ideas, you know, just like snake, that's all Thug's thing, but like sending out snakes to press people, it's like it was because of his like ideas that we're able to like build off of that, you know. And I feel like as a marketer, it's like whenever you have an artist that has like these ideas of like these like kind of key pieces that makes their brand identity, it's like kind of like your job to help like push that to the forefront and like have people understand what that is about.
Exactly. I want you guys, all three of you, to actually speak on this, because like I have a degree in marketing, but I obviously don't work on that side. I feel like when we talk about digital and like all of this stuff, these are just terms that we throw around, but people don't actually know what you guys do day to day, what your role is within these systems for these artists. So I would love you guys to like kind of just like highlight exactly what it is to like do marketing on a day-to-day basis, what makes your job valuable, how you see yourself as a really like integral part to an artist team. Because you do that community that is so important to artists, that gets people to buy merch and go out to shows, really spend money with these people and become core fans, is all created, I feel like, from what you guys do day to day.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's like solely created off of us, because it's like, again, I think it always starts off with the artist. But,
100%.
I mean, I would say, what's your like thought process on it?
No, I mean, I agree with that. I think everybody has different strengths, right? I think digital marketing is so vast, and that's what I said. Like when he talked about it, like 3-4 years ago, and like said it was going to be everything, I didn't really understand what he meant, but I trusted him. And it's like now you see, it's literally like marketing, PR, almost like a new version of radio when you think about like people doing like TikTok campaigns and things like that. Like there's different ways that digital pushes these records and like influences culture. And so I feel like naturally people are going to be good at one thing over another, right? Like I feel like what I've really focused on in my own life is more like digital PR and then like the fan engagement stuff. Because I feel like when it comes to engagement, I remember when I first got the internship at Warner and we connected over Keyed because I was working some of those records. Like the only reason I got that internship was because they were like, I mean, it was called, it was a college rep position, but it was called, like Warner College Influencer, like market rep or something like that. It was, the influencer was in the title.
I've seen it.
And I was like, I don't think I could get this, but fuck it.
Yeah.
And they interviewed me and they're like, well, we have no one in your market and like your engagement on your IG is like crazy. Because I think it was like 25% versus everybody else.
IG.
Nah, but that's the thing. That's the thing. I
They
feel
say
like
you already going off on IG. Help us.
that's the thing is like, I feel like my Instagram, again, I don't have a lot of followers, but I think especially early on, my friends were always I was always making jokes and shit that were like landing with my friends and people that actually knew me.
Yeah.
So like people would comment and people would like and engage with my shit versus other people who had like bigger followings, but like only had like a 5% engagement rate. And I forget how you do the calculations on that, but they literally did it and they're like, nah, this is somebody we should tap in with. And I think that part's important because when we talk about the YSL page and we talk about Renan and all that and everything that he's built, it's like Thug already had a presence. Thug is already a thing. But the messaging of what YSL is comes from him and from that page. And he's able to do it because he's a fan and a consumer of the music. And he's literally seeing everything that Thug's putting out. And he's almost just like putting out his interpretation of it. And he's got a good sense of humor too. So like everything that he posts, like his own community is like, oh, okay, like I get this. And it's kind of funny too. And it does feel like it represents Thug. So I've been working on that a lot more, just like trying to be better at Discord, trying to figure out what's going on in Twitch communities. Cause like all those influencers have hella engagement. And the digital PR stuff, just like narrative, bro, storylines. I think you kind of see like what I do on my own Instagram too. Like again, not huge followings, but I think everything I do is like,
You love a good narrative.
I love it. It's because everything I do on social media is, I think, bro, 70% of it is targeted at like 1 to like 3 people.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
And you think that's good marketing?
I think
Because
that
we all know that he's talking to someone. I think that's what's
I feel
funny.
like that's like
Yeah.
how everybody be trying to be, you know?
Yeah.
Just trying to talk to that one person.
yeah, exactly.
he
But
posts those song lyrics for one girl specifically.
But it's funny because everybody's like, what is this dude trying to say? Like, who's he talking to? And that's where the engagement part comes in because everyone's like trying to get in on the joke. Because it's very clearly like not a covert joke. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I kind of like ventured off, but I feel like those are more of my strengths. KOJO can speak to his, but I don't know. I think you definitely have to specialize, especially when it comes to this industry. And like just like carve out your own lane when it comes to digital.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every marketer got their different strengths and different approach to stuff. You know, I feel like me, I always try to like put myself back into the shoes of when I was like younger and discovering music and just like what made me a fan of like the artists that I grew up listening to, you know? And so like I would take those elements and then just like try to apply it to the artists I'm working with now to just like kind of like reverse engineer it, you know? And I feel like in business school, that's kind of like how you're taught, like the fans are the customers, you know? So just like you got to put your shoes in the customers, or like the customer is always right. So you got to think about that. But I mean, I think before like the music discovery part, I think like all the artists, like the great artists have like key pieces of like their brand or identity that like they just do naturally and they may not be aware of. But it's like, sometimes it is on the people at the label or their team to help like push that thing that they may not realize that they're doing like naturally, and they just like make that their thing, you know? I think that's what like good teams help like kind of push to the forefront, is just like the things that the artist may naturally be doing and just like make them aware of it and just kind of like double down on it. Cause like that's the stuff that like works, you know, and just kind of drive home those points. But I feel like a lot of times like the world building starts with the artist, you know?
Definitely. I think that like for anyone at a label, but especially in those positions where again, you're responsible with telling a story, because with the music, you know what I mean? We're doing the same thing that you guys are trying to do on the A&R side, but help tell the story, do all the stuff, community building through the music making process. Right. The best way to do any of that is just getting fly with the artist. Because at the end of the day, like you said, like everything has to come from them. I can't make a nigga make a song about anything or like want to have depth or meaning in anything. But if I spend time with them, talk to them, get to know them and understand what they're trying to say and what the messaging is, then I can help put people in the room to bring that out of them. Find ways and environments to put them in, whether it's like switching the studio, you know what I mean? Like if you just are around the artist, you could just tell like they're creatively burnt out. Like, yo, like, let's try like go to somewhere else to record for a little bit, you know? Let's get new faces in the room. Let's get new people around you and just see if that's going to spark something and bring out this thing that you've been trying to communicate for a while.
No, 100%. Like, especially within music, this is like to really be good at, as your job as somebody behind the scenes, helping the artist is really understanding the music and where it sits in like the culture and all that, you know? It's not just, a lot of times it could just feels like you're just sending emails and like looking at numbers on like artists for Spotify. But like, I feel like when you're in that type of like mindset, like it kind of kills the ability to really do the artist, like just really service them 100%, you know? It's not until like, like you're in the studio with them and like see their creation process or hear like what influenced the song, or like you're out with them at like one of their shows and you're seeing like the music interact in real life. It's like you gotta experience like what the artist is like. You gotta step into the artist's world to really understand how to market it, you know? So like until you do that, it's like I don't think you can really fully understand how to like really push go on it, you know?
Definitely.
It's like you can develop a star, but you can't build one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it definitely needs to start from the artist and everything needs to go from there. I don't think a label could ever like make an artist that doesn't already have the vision and have this creative identity like pop. To be honest, because I just always see labels and teams as just like fueling the fire.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You start a fire, a really good fire, you know, a really good song, a good identity, and then you just need all these different people to put it in the right places, make sure it's seen by the right people, and make sure it all looks a certain way. But I think it does need to come from the artist.
I agree with you. I think the one thing that labels can do if they choose to invest is like find something super early and just say for the next 5 years, we're going to like develop this person, whether it comes to the music, like a movement coach, teaching them how to market themselves, getting them a stylist, all these different things. But that is expensive. You know what I mean? And I think that we are moving away from that because especially in the 2020s with the rise of short form, like we are seeing kind of a drop off in like, oh, we don't have to spend all this money.
Yes.
So we could just grab this artist in this song and just like try and develop it as is. But a lot of those people weren't necessarily artists.
Their songs.
Their songs. So it's like you have a moment, but you low-key have to start from the beginning anyway. And I think people were trying to skip steps.
I mean,
at that
TikTok
point.
fucked a lot of shit up, but I'm like, I think now, especially with like where I'm at in this, like we have to move away from finding artists that are, oh my God, this viral song is moving up the charts, da da da. It's like, no, let me sit with this person. What are you working on? Right. Who are you in the studio with? Well, again, what is the infrastructure around you before the label comes in? Where do you want to go in the next 5 to 10 years? What are you building here? And now, like, how can we turn it up?
And what do you like?
Yes.
Are you cool?
Yes.
Do you have taste?
Yes.
Like that's the like if you don't have taste, this is going nowhere.
And it doesn't have to be expensive if it's a real artist, because I'm like, say you got to get a nigga fly. Instead of like having to spend all this money on different stylists and just trying to put them in a bunch of different designer brands, how about you link them up with one brand that is really true to them and have that be a thing, like how early Tyler had the Supreme box logo. I'm sure Supreme was down to fuck with him and give him a lot of stuff for free as he started to blow up and rep the brand and continually do that. And his team leaned into that. Mm-hmm. You know, you could find creative ways to build up a persona and image for these people that isn't just about like doing this kind of like, you can't put someone in some bullshit that's not really them, you know? You can't get a nerdy kid off the street and start putting him in designer and make him a fly rapper. Now throw the chain on him and just give him the whole rapper stimulus package. It doesn't work. People see right through the industry plant bullshit a lot of the times, I think now, because everyone want to call everybody an industry plant.
What was the last, what did you call it? A care package supplement?
Rapper stimulus package?
What was the last rapper stimulus package you saw get given out?
I mean, I hate to be mean to people. Let me think about it. I don't see, like, okay. That Georgiana girl, right?
Yeah. Okay.
No hate to her. Do your thing. You know what I mean? Again, anybody putting their music out there, like, shouts out to you. She was one day in Indiana, and then the next day, you know what I mean? She gets the big change. She's flexing the money. You see, they turned her style up a little bit. They have turned her now into a rap artist. You know, she got the Glorilla feature. It's like, okay. They got her to the starting line now. They prepped her, got her ready, all of that. And now it's time. What is she going to do with it? She got the rock. Like, how far is she going to take it? Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I see it a little bit. I don't know. I could be completely off again. I don't know these people. I don't work on these teams. Shout out to her or whatever.
But low-key, that's what they're supposed to do.
Yes, exactly.
Low-key.
I think that's what they're supposed to do a little bit, but I don't like when it doesn't feel personalized.
Yeah, no,
I think you really have to take the time to tailor make a plan for each individual artist. There is not a one-size-fits-all approach to music or building these people or like helping them, you know? It does have to come from them. You can't have a vision for someone that they don't have for themselves.
I see what you're saying. You're saying you don't feel like that's her vision.
I don't know. It just feels a little bit like, let's put her with Glorilla and let's give her a chain and all the other shit. But hey, no hate to her. Do your thing. Someone that I do think is dope. We've seen the Cardi billboards popping up all around in different places. How are we feeling about I Am Music rollout? Are we getting an album soon? How are we feeling about this rollout? I know Spencer is ready for the album and tired of all the rah-rah. I feel like it has to be coming soon, to me.
I would hope so. Because I feel like I think at this point it's like not only have the fans been waiting and begging for this project, but we can see the amount of time and effort that's been put into it.
Yes. Especially
on like not only the label side, but like now like Spotify and like all these different people are investing. He did the thing where he was selling vinyls. People were saying like that time limit's gonna expire. I would assume that it's coming soon just based on the amount of money that would be lost if it didn't come soon, you know? Yeah. But
how do you do a vinyl pre-order and not have a record, you know?
Yeah.
It seems like it has to come out. I've stopped speculating at all. I don't think about it. I don't talk about it. I'm just waiting for it to drop.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be on it.
Coming soon.
You think him buying the watch for Gio is like part of it?
Yo, who? Cause she's fully a lesbian woman. So I don't know where these like.
You can't buy your gay friend a watch.
You can buy a gay friend a watch for sure. You know what I mean? You can buy her a Rolex, buy her AP, whatever she need that day. And I think they homies probably. That's probably gang.
Yeah.
Is it crazy that he didn't show up to the party? Actually, you can get that off.
What?
You know what I mean? Hey, I'm not gonna show up to your party, but here's the gift. You know?
That's fly.
Yeah.
I think that's respectable. I'm not mad at that.
So what? I'm just trying to like boil that relationship down. Like him giving her the watch. Would that be like me giving you a watch?
It's the same thing
for your birthday. It's like
that's
But didn't you say people think they're like romantic?
No,
I think
didn't
that's
say
just grand wisdom.
Yeah, that's people who don't know her.
That's just meme
I
accounts.
think that
Got
is a
it.
confirmed. I don't think she really fucking with niggas like that. She seemed like the homie though. I'd hang out with Gio.
If you got rich first, would you buy me a watch for my birthday?
The gang could all get watches. When I'm up, bro,
Yeah.
for sure. I like gift giving though.
44K though.
I mean, if I got 44K watch money, y'all can have a Rolex for sure, bro.
Is that your love language? Gift giving? No, it's not. Don't lie.
I don't
Don't
think
lie.
I don't know what my love language is. I'm not tapped in with myself. Enough
Bro,
on that.
every time we talk about Cardi, I just feel like that one meme with the 3 white kids sitting on a couch. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, definitely.
talk about hip
Definitely.
hop.
The current state of hip hop.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, but so do you work with are you allowed to speak on the opium camp at all?
I work on the opium artists like Ken, Lonely, and Homicide Gang.
Fire.
Yeah.
Seeing how that's kind of changed culture, changed the youth, been such an impactful group. What have you kind of seen from? Were you there at the beginning?
I mean, I would say like Ken was like the first artist that was signed. I think the first project we did was like X.
Yeah.
So I think he signed like 2022.
Yeah.
So like I remember like going to see like one of his like first like early shows in Brooklyn at the time. Like this is before I moved out here. So this is like end of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I think the Knitting Factory in Brooklyn or somewhere like that. It's like a small like dusty ass venue or some shit like that. I don't know if that's the right venue, but it was small. It was like probably only like 200.
No, that sounds
200
like right,
people.
yeah.
But yeah, just to see like where he's at now and like the growth of it. I mean, it kind of just reminds me of like just YSL, but like the 2020 version of it. You know, like everybody's wearing all black. It's like the upside down crosses. It's like they got their own lingo. Like the sound is like very distinct. So just like the continuation of just like Atlanta rap. You know, so it's cool to be a part of like the growth of that. You know.
Yeah, that's wild that you were part of like the shit that really turned all of this up,
Right.
and now are able to like also be such an impactful player in
Right.
what's gonna take it where it's gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, just lucky being able to play a role in all of it, you know. Just being a part of like that when I first got in the door at 300, working on the YSL stuff to now like all the stuff that's going on with like opium and all that, you know. I feel like that camp has the hold on the culture right now. Like all the kids that you see like pulling up to shows, they're like rocking all black, you know, like it's really like got the youth on lock for real.
Is it hilarious to see like all the white kids being
Yeah,
like,
man, it just makes me feel old. It's just like it just makes me feel old. It's like, damn, I really got no business like being in those mosh pits for real. Like I'm good at where I'm at in the balcony in the VIP, but like seeing all of them just like sweating, just like ridiculous. They're probably over here just like buying fake shit off at Temu, just be a part of it, you know, like the fake Ricks and all that stuff. But like, it's cool to see, you know, like I like the energy of it. It's just like this rebel energy. It's like, it's cool to just see like the youth just like finding, I don't know, like their voice of the zeitgeist or like the sound of the zeitgeist, you know, through that camp, you know.
It's
rock
very
star
punk
shit.
rock.
Yeah.
Very punk rock, very like fuck the music that the generation above us like came up on. We're changing this shit, and the worse it sounds to you old heads, the better it is for us. This is ours, and it's getting us turned. And
no, it's cool because it's like you'll be seeing parents out there at the shows, you know. Some of them will be like on the sideline just waiting for this shit to like be done so they could go, because like they're over there just like hugging the wall just with their jackets.
Yeah.
There'll be some parent just like really in the mosh pits with their kids. So just like it's dope to see just the generational pull of like the music, you know.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, did y'all have parents that would go to shows with you or not?
Nah, not my African parents,
Yeah,
man.
my mom and dad were not about that at all. That's why I couldn't
no.
go to shows till I was older. Like
Right.
I was not one of them like 12, 13-year-olds running around going to none of this lit shit at all.
When was the first show you went to? How old were you?
First show I went to, I was 16 years old, and I saw Drake and Janae Aiko at the Cosmopolitan.
Drake was your first show?
That was my first show. It was during the Meek Mill beef too. He did back to back. We were all chanting "fuck Meek" in the crowd and everything, bro. Shout out Meek Mill, no hate.
It's
but
a
yeah.
crazy first show.
No, it was smooth. Drake he only did like I think 30 minutes. Janae was honestly was the highlight of the show. She was really dope. But yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, that's so 2010s.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Drake, Janae Aiko.
That was the early days, man. I thought I was fly. You know, I bought a whole new fit for that day too. I was
Of
like, yo, my
course.
first
You
concert.
had the Roches on. You had the Roches.
Oh my god, I couldn't do the Roches. Niggas had Roches on. I was like, bro, I'm tall enough. Y'all niggas is trying to, you know, bro. I hated Roches.
I love the
because I seen a
Roches.
bunch of short niggas come through the school one day, like got 2-3 inches on. I'm like, what are we doing, guys? How y'all get taller overnight? That was crazy. But yeah, that was my first one. What was the first concert you went to?
I went and saw BB King with my dad.
Look at
What
this.
the fuck
Look at
was
this
that?
white man. Look at this. That was fly. That was fly. That's why we keep you on the pod right there. His first concert was BB King, bro. My dad would love to hear that.
That was a big moment for me.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny as hell.
Y'all,
I was gonna say I don't even remember. It was probably some EDM shit.
what?
To be honest,
You weren't.
like it was probably like a Skrillex or something like that.
That was your bag.
Low key, yeah. I had a roommate. Remember Jay Forehand?
Yeah.
Jay
Wait,
Forehand.
Crazy last
Jay-
name.
His
Jay
name
Forehand?
No, his name was Jay Forehand.
Yeah, nah.
Like forehand or backhand?
Forehand.
Yeah, they used to call. Yeah, bro. He got some crazy nicknames back in the day, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we really just skimmed through the boarding school question because like it gets weirder than that, man, for sure.
Nah, for
Do you want to double back?
I was gonna say y'all be keeping the boarding school shit cryptic.
I mean, it's not really that cryptic, but it was just like, I mean, it's just boarding school activities and shit, just like kids just doing dumb shit, you know, just like.
unsupervised.
It's funny because like I don't know. For me, you could let them know how you feel about it, but for me, it was a big part of my life. Obviously, high school developmental years, and I take like some aspects from it. Like I feel like the discipline stuff, you know what I mean, in terms of just like schedule,
Mhm.
having to wake up at a certain time, eating breakfast in the morning, going to class, doing sports, and then going to study hall. Like I think like in my like older days now, it's like the routine stuff is what really stuck with me. Some of the dress code and that style stuck with me. But like there's just some parts of it that I just like never really identified with. And now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, I can definitely just like push that to the side. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the EDM stuff, like when I was first starting to listen to music, I like started listening to Kanye and then Eric Smith put me on to Chief Keef. But outside of that, like my roommate loved Skrillex and like listened to like a bunch of EDM and like a bunch of like dubstep. And so like I would go on those adventures too, you know, and go to like those concerts. But I don't know. Now I look back on it and I was just like following the wave, you know? And as a young person, you kind of just want to fit in and you want to just like make friends and like be a part of something. But it's funny to like look back on those days and just be like, I don't really identify with that. And I never did, you know?
No, that was a wave though. That was because what, 2013-ish?
Yeah, 2013,
Yeah, I was
2012,
in a
2013.
little dubstep bag with you in 2013. I can't
Nah,
lie.
Yeah,
I was
for
dubstep
there.
sure.
went crazy back in the day, man.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
That shit gave me headaches.
I think
bro.
the only thing I took from
Oh,
boarding
fam.
school was probably like music wise, probably like country music. I do like country music
I would
to an
say-
extent.
A little bit, you know.
you didn't seem like you really fuck with it that much.
I mean, yeah, country music was definitely being played in like the locker rooms for sure.
oof. Pre-game?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they would get active to the country music
Oh,
for sure.
yeah,
For
nah.
sure.
I couldn't do all that.
What sport do you guys keep referencing that you played together?
It's
Man.
like football and wrestling. I think
I never played
track.
football. It was just wrestling.
And then track. I think track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
track.
track for like one season, and then like I was like decent at wrestling. I was decent at wrestling, and then like he was like a freshman, and he was shit. and then,
No, I lost every single.
Yeah.
First, I'm glad I quit after my freshman year because
Yeah.
I was like, I hate this sport.
Yeah.
Like, I hate everything about it.
I hated it too, but yeah, I just thugged it out.
But I lost every single match except there was like a tournament at the end, and I like won the first two matches and made it to the final.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but then I lost in the final. But you know,
You had to show out though one time.
yeah.
trust
That, like low key, I was like, bro, I'm like low key athletic for no reason. You feel me? Like, because I shouldn't have been able to win that at all.
I guess, man. But
Thank you. I'm glad a nigga who knows you said, "Oh, say love getting that narrative." I'm like, I'm mad athletic, low key.
I mean, I
Sounds
guess.
like you
man.
were a
Like-
bad wrestler and you
But
ran track.
I'm gonna let him
Definitely.
live, you know. I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff I don't remember from like high school and like all that. But yeah, like that was like my main sport. But I was alright at it. I wasn't like in love with it, you know. Like if anything, what I took from that was probably just like being healthy type, just watching what I eat, like working out type stuff.
It's a pretty intense sport
Yeah.
on the body.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Like music wise, I felt like, I mean, it definitely like kind of like where I kind of first started like taking the thought of having a career in music seriously, just being in the studio there. But first time like I went to a concert, just going back to the original topic, I think was again when I was in college. It was like late. It was just this festival. Like I was doing this semester in the Bay Area, and then there was like this festival in Oakland. It was just like, what's his name? Anderson .Paak was performing there.
Yeah.
Sick. That's my guy.
And I think Gold Link was supposed to be performing there, but like Anderson .Paak was like the one that stood out. It was just like some block party type event out in Oakland, like 2015.
He's an insane live performer.
Yeah.
That's a great first show.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw him, and like I never knew any of his music before then. And so like he was like singing, then he was just like on the drums and shit like that. And so like that was like, damn, 10 years ago, man.
He's the type of person where like once you see him live, it's like, oh, I need to dive into this whole catalog.
I
gotta
dived
hit this album.
Yeah, I dived into that album afterwards, and so it was just like it was dope,
He's great. I mean, keeping it to we talked a lot about Atlanta. I'm not gonna lie, Atlanta really taking over the rap scene.
Atlanta's been running the music industry for like going on 20 years. I feel like
we seen some bullshit. Well, there's a little bit of truth to it, some lies. There was the rumor that Lil Baby had gotten arrested that popped up last week.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know, a couple of, I want to say years ago, Baby was shooting a music video allegedly in an ops neighborhood, and it resulted in, I guess, retaliation. 2 kids got shot, And now the Atlanta City Police have kind of come out and said, yo, we're blaming Lil Baby for what just happened. And like, we're kind of going to stop at nothing to put this on you. It feels a little bit targeted, obviously, because of the result of all the thug stuff. It doesn't seem like they got whatever they wanted out of that. So now they're just trying to attack whoever. But Baby is not arrested. He put out a statement saying like, yo, I'm good. This is just narratives, Did y'all hear anything about this? See anything about this?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I saw a little bit about it. I just think it's sad because he's literally talked about in interviews how he had to change his whole like label and all this stuff, like the name and like distance himself from people because he's like, bro, I know for a fact that they're gonna try and use all this stuff against me, so I gotta move different. And I think like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know the ins and outs of like his life and like what this has to do with it. I didn't read too much into it, but I do think to pin all that on one person is kind of crazy, like no matter how you spin it. And I feel like from what I know about Baby and like the people that have been around him that I know, like that's a good dude really trying to do work in the community low key. Like in terms of like he makes music and he brings it back into and like helps people around him. So like I don't know. This seems like a good dude. I don't know why they always try and paint that narrative.
I mean, I think that he's in a position that a lot of rappers have been in, whether you look at like Jay-Z, Jeezy, where like these rappers come up talking about some street shit and then they move away from that life. They do whatever they have to do. And now they're trying to be businessmen. They're trying to be looked at in a more, I don't even want to say respectable light, because even at the beginning, like when they were doing what they had to do, they were doing it to feed their families, give back to their communities, do all this shit. I don't think any of these people were bad individuals really at any point in their life, but he seems so far removed, like you said, from all of that, moving around like that, that to have people kind of putting this image on him and this narrative on him, it's just so unnecessary and harmful. But again, you know, prayers up to everyone who was obviously affected by the situation. We want to see Baby doing his thing, out healthy, dropped the 2 albums this year. Shout out him.
I mean, I don't know, bro. These are the same systems. Like, first, they're all stories, right? Like, these are all like stories they're telling about their life, and like the same systems that are like attacking him right now are like the reason he had to maybe do those things, or like other people have to do those things. So for me, it goes deeper than that. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the solution is, but I don't think it's this. I don't think it's threatening people, and I don't think it's like putting blame on what's happening in neighborhoods on like an individual when it's a much larger problem.
It's pointless. Oh, another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about that I completely forgot. Did you see that Lil Yachty launched a tequila brand?
Yeah.
Or tequila seltzer brand, Yacht Water?
Yacht Water.
Yeah. How do y'all feel about drinking rapper alcohol? Were y'all big on like cacti's? We got
Yeah, you know I am.
I like.
You
I'm
know
pro
I am,
cacti.
yeah.
I was
Why
pro
would I buy
cacti.
a White Claw when I could buy a cacti?
Yeah, it's more fun.
You
It's more
drinking
fun.
Travis juice, man?
Yeah, I drink. Yeah.
Crazy, man.
I was all about the Travis juice.
The Travis juice
Hey,
wasn't
man.
bad. Are y'all purchasing yacht water? Will you be buying this for
I'll-
your next occasion?
I will be trying it. Maybe we'll try it on stream.
We should do a tasting.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Pause. That was crazy.
Yachty tasting.
Hey, yo.
I don't know. I'm gonna step outside of the actual product and just, I don't know. I want to give Yachty flowers because I feel like, especially when he was coming up with the music stuff, he talks about it a lot. How he was really making a lot of money off of product placement and being in like hella commercials and like aligning himself with brands. I think it's only right that somebody that made millions of dollars off brand endorsements is now starting his own and like is using his cachet and his influence to push his own stuff, because you're gonna make more money that way.
Yeah.
I don't know about the actual product. Haven't tried it. We'll try it when it comes out and when it's available. But I don't know. I kind of see it from that perspective. I like it as a business move.
Yeah, it threw me off because isn't Yachty sober? Or like, nah, I didn't think he drank
I
alcohol.
don't think he drinks. I don't think he's sober, but I don't think he
Oh,
drinks.
so then if true, I feel like that's bad like brand alignment.
Are you-
I mean, he addressed it in the promo.
Yeah.
He was like, "Y'all know I don't drink, but it's really just because I don't like the taste of it. So I've made myself a drink I like." And
Nah.
that's like the spin, but
I don't know. Jody said something to me on stream the other day. He's like, bro, if what did he say? He said something about like when it comes to putting out projects and like when it comes to branding and all this stuff. If like, damn, I'm not even gonna say it right, but he was basically saying everything's got to be aligned in a way.
Yeah.
Like if you got one font in Times New Roman, the other one can't be in Arial. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say album title Times New Roman. The font track listing for the font for the track list isn't gonna be Arial. You know what I'm saying? Everything got to be aligned. Like I feel like if you don't drink, you're not putting out a seltzer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I agree. That's why I love Cacti. It's so fitting, right? Like he's like courtside with his cacti, like clearly enjoying the product. Like we've always known him to be somebody that likes to indulge. Like I'm with you. I don't know if it was necessarily the best branding play for Yachty, but I'm not mad at it, and I will buy the product.
Yeah, we'll try it. We'll see what he's talking about. I also fuck with how Coach K is involved with it too. Who's like his manager, obviously, is part of QC. But I like how like they seem to always be in lockstep with things like this, and I feel like he's really been locked in with Yachty since the beginning of his career. That's respectable. I think it's important, and I do want to speak to you about this too, because I feel like you've been the beneficiary of being around a lot of Black executives from the beginning of your journey in music. I think it's really important that we have figureheads like that we can kind of look up to, both from us as young people trying to grow in the industry and from the artists, because now I feel like that makes them feel safe. Because there's someone who really understands them and has investment in them as a person and isn't just looking at them as a commodity. You kind of speak to just like, how did it make you feel walking into a building when you knew that it was kind of like a Black-owned business, to say?
Right. I mean, I think it's definitely more like, I feel like that just feels right when you're like working at a hip hop label and it's like somebody that's like of the culture that has roots in it, you know. It just feels more authentic, you know, and just like having somebody that you could like easily talk to and like understands like where you're coming from, and then also just like knowing how to navigate the industry, just like as somebody who is like, you know, is also Black, you know. It's, I don't know, I feel like there's not a lot of those type of figures around, and so like when there is one, I feel like you definitely got to just like soak up game and just be able to like, yeah, just take in all the information that they're giving you. Like the fact that they even allow you to be in the same rooms as them while they're on their phone calls and whatnot. I think whenever you're like in that position, I feel like you should just like not be in a rush to just like show like what you could do, but just kind of be a fly on the wall and just like absorb the information that they're giving you, you know? I feel like that's the benefit that I got, like being at 300 at that time. Just, it was a small company, and being able to go into different rooms and just like the heads of the departments and just like hearing what they had going on. I felt like that was like my master's program. I felt like within the music industry, like the time that I spent at that company, just like being in the mix with like people that have been in the game for like 20 years, you know, from like the beginning of the Def Jam like build up. And so like people that even were around like Wayne or Birdman or Master P or whatever that were at different labels at different times, just like really just soaking up all the game from all of them, you know, and just being young and just listening to what they had to say.
Yeah. I think that 300 for me, like, redefined my idea of mentorship.
Right.
But I feel like Black executives are like, I don't know, I've like radicalized like mentorship and like what that means. Cause like, I'm gonna be honest, like 80% of the time, no one told me how to actually do anything.
Yeah.
You know? But it was really just like being that fly on the wall, like being like hearing their phone calls, making mistakes and getting corrected and all that stuff, different type of stuff, riding around with executives, you know, and like going to different meetings. Like you really learn in music by like observing and taking notes, like taking mental notes or even like physical notes, you know what I mean? And like I think the game that gets passed down is it's only for certain people, because if you're not willing to like literally fully dive into like the lifestyle of it, you're gonna lose a lot of that mentorship and a lot of like life lessons. Like I think one of the biggest times that I learned more about music, because I started during the pandemic, so I wasn't able to be outside like that. I took the train to New York like once in a while, but a lot of what I was learning was via like the phone. And when I went to Rolling Loud Miami, I think this was like 2021 or 2022, and just got the opportunity to be around like Keed and stuff like that, and just like all the other executives at 300, and again mostly Black executives. Like they were telling me a whole bunch of stuff that they would never text me, you know what I'm saying, or even on a phone call, you know. And I think like moments like that, learning how to like navigate like actual festival grounds, learning like what video to capture, like and what angles to capture it at, like low key, bro. Sometimes when you like trying to get like good content and footage, sometimes you got to be in the crowd, you know, or sometimes because the side stage stuff, it looks like, you know, somebody from the team took it. You know what I mean? Like, I know like little things like that are probably the reason why I like working with Black executives specifically, because they also speak your language and they know what you're going through to an extent.
Yeah. I mean, what you guys said with the listening stuff is really, really important, because I think me, like, I'm definitely learning that in real time right now. Like, I think you do get so excited to be in these rooms. You're like, oh my God, how many times am I going to get to do this? Like, I got to show what I can do. I got to make an impression on these people and be impactful. But a lot of the time it's like, you don't need to put that pressure on yourself. It's not for you. This is not your moment right now.
Right.
You need to learn what's happening right now, so when it is your time, you know what to do. Because if you spend your whole time trying to just talk and get your shit off, what are you retaining?
Right.
Like,
like there's been times I feel like, like learning how to navigate when an artist is not very happy with the label.
Yeah.
Like I remember just when I was first starting off at 300, there was like some meetings where we would be on the artist call and the artist would just like be like totally angry, you know, just shouting at the marketing person, just like, yo, this didn't happen, da 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 da. Like this artist who's like on the album didn't post it, da da da. Where just like you're just like, because again, this is like a people's business, you know, and so just like it's not. I feel like it's not like an inanimate object that you're like marketing or like promoting. You know, it's like it's a human being with like emotions. Like they got their own like 24 hours in a day where they're going through different stuff. So just like they may not be in the mind frame to like be in artist mode and like push their album because like something that day just like really just like
threw them off,
derailed them, you know. So just like you just got to be cognizant of like, yo, these are real people with emotions. It's like a lot of times it's just out. That's why it's like sometimes when you see stuff that's like turns into memes about an artist, it's not really that funny because it's like it's still a person. Like the fans may not see the person day to day or like understand like what the context is, but like these are like real people. So I feel like just being early in my career, just like being able to just be in the rooms and just like seeing how to navigate different situations. Like I felt like I've learned more when things didn't go well. You know, it's like it's easy to be on a winning team. Like and like everything is easy with like a hit, you know, like press people open up and be like, yo, like let's get you on this magazine, let's get you on this website, let's have you up on this like late night radio TV or like late night TV or whatever, you know, let's get you on this radio show. But like trying to work something from the ground up, like trying to break an artist, try to get an artist back from like a comeback, you know, I feel like you learn more during like the struggles, you know? And so like I felt like there was a whole period for like a few years before like 300 really had some motion, like till like Gunna came and Megan came, it was just pretty dry, you know? I remember it was like, cause they had that Complex show, and it was like academics were just like shitting on labels, just like, yo, just thugging a whole bunch of like gravestones over there because like Migos had just dipped at that time, and so it just like I felt like so it was just like just working on all these other artists that were developing, and so just like I felt like you learn more during like the times where it's not like the biggest artists that had like the biggest song, you know. I feel like you learn more when it's just like tough, where like people are not like as open to like hearing what you got on your plate that you're trying to push, you know. I feel like that's really where you like learn the most, you know.
And you've seen really cool shifts too, because you don't just work in the rap space. You also work Afrobeat projects, right?
Yeah. Now I do. So like at 300, I was definitely like heavy in the rap space, heavy in the street stuff. So like it was like getting into the mix of those, and like now just being at a bigger like a major label now. Like at the time, like 300 was independent, but like being able to work on different genres now, I feel like again just like learning new stuff and just like seeing how different genres operate, you know. I feel like the Afrobeat stuff is just like definitely like more grown and like sexy vibes, you know, like people, it's just like it's just it's a whole different demographic, you know.
I was gonna say, what's the difference between trying to like market or connect with a Ken Carson fan versus fan like base. A Rema fan?
Right. I feel like that talking to like a opium artist or a fan base is just like a young person under 25, probably predominantly male, plays video games. So just like you gotta just put your head in like that type of mind frame. It's like you're probably gonna be like going for like gamer creators to just have like highlight edits or whatever, or just like sports or like fitness, different things like that. Versus like the Afrobeat stuff, it's like kind of leans more mature, you know, it's a global audience. So it's like you're doing things like the get ready with me, the lifestyles, or like the relationship videos, like people going on vacation, doing the whole vacation recap is like my February dump type post, you know, like those type of vibes. I feel like it's just different. So just like I feel like when it comes to marketing, it's like I feel like you gotta really be like interested in like what makes people tick in like different pockets of like groups of people, you know. I feel like that's really like my main interest is like on some anthropology type shit where you just like studying different pockets of people, you know. It's like demographics, you know. Like I may not be like the biggest like rock fan, but like sometimes I'll be like pop out of some completely random shit, just seeing just like fucking like got people linked up at some like shitty ass dive bar out here, but it's just like yo, this is a whole different culture and pocket of like people that like I'm not privy to, but like I'm down to just observe, you know.
What does this look like?
What is it exactly? What does this look like?
Natural habitat.
Why do they got nails coming out of their like their faces and shit, you know?
The Rema shit is hard, bro. I fuck with the new song heavy. How long have you been on his team?
So like I'd say like last year, because he's still on like Maven Records, and so like Maven was acquired by like UMG. And so like we picked up like him like last year. Like the A&R who like helped sign him, he was like been trying to sign him for like a long ass time. But yeah, like the first project I worked on it was He Is. So that was, but I've known about his music since like 2019, like when he first was coming out, you know?
Yeah, that nigga's crazy, bro.
It's kind of interesting too, because even though you work across genres, like you definitely have like a certain style and aesthetic and like a type of fan that you work with. Because I would argue that even though like a Ken Carson fan and a Rema fan and like even an Amare fan are different in terms of appearances and stuff, when it comes to the way that they fanboy over these artists, it's definitely some cult like fan base shit. Like it's on some like, if you're a part of this is what you look like, this is what you dress like, and you like ride or die for your artist. Like I feel like especially one thing I've noticed in terms of the crossover of like the African market and like maybe like the more like punk stuff here is that like, bro, when it comes to like Afrobeats music specifically, like that fan base, especially on Twitter, is always just shit talking.
No, yeah,
like,
they're intense.
going crazy. Like,
yeah, like I would say that's one thing I've noticed. It's like it's pretty. It reminds me of like like the opium like underground fan bases. Like they're mad loud online, but like tapping into like the Afrobeat space and like Nigerian music scene and just like seeing how these fans talk is it's like they're intense, you know. Like obviously US music fans talk about like billboards and stuff like that, but like they just get into it, man. It's like yo, like WizKid did this many streams first day, DeVito, like Burna Boy, just like it's intense, you know, and like they just talk about it like day in and day out. It's like on WhatsApp, whatever it is. It's like in the engagement on it is crazy. You know, like they'll just drop a video, they'll drop a snippet, and like they will have like 40,000 like TikToks creates like within the first day of like a snippet being posted. It's just like the engagement and like the internet behavior is just like it's different and it's interesting, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, sorry to interrupt, until the He Is project. You were talking about working. So I think that kind of pivot for Rema, you know, at least in aesthetic, also sonically. You know what I mean?
Sonically, yeah. I mean, like that album for him was just kind of like his his Yeezus, you know. I felt like that was a narrative that we were like definitely trying to kind of help establish with like how to like frame it within the context of his own music, you know, because like his like albums prior, or like his music prior to that had like kind of a typical Afrobeat sense. It was just like colorful, like upbeat, you know, like female, like singing to the women and stuff like that. And then you have like this album where it's just like aggressive. It's like a more local sound. It has like dark imagery. And so it was kind of just like a complete different direction of what like people would think you would expect from an artist that had like one of the biggest Afrobeat song. And I felt like he really stood on his on like what he really wanted to like represent and really push forward like his home culture of like Benin, you know. That was his main goal, you know. He really wanted to like, again, just like strip it down, like obviously like the success of like Calm Down and all that, but like the whole purpose of like the He Is album was really just an album that was really influenced from his home, and just like bringing that to his home fan base, you know. And then obviously like the world community, like his global fan base, like they bought into it. And then it's crazy to see just like him touring off of that and like going to like Romania and like hearing the Ozeba being played out, and you just seeing like all these just like European people just like dancing off beat to it, you know. Just like it's like that for him was like the same, I guess, mission that he was on to deliver that album was like the same mission that like Bad Bunny was on to like put out like a very localized type of album and with its own like narrative of being like speaking directly to his home country, you know. That's how I saw it.
I love that move so much because at first I thought the album was fire from the time it dropped. I like the sound of it, but then to have like one of the biggest Afrobeat hits ever and to go a complete different direction, I don't know. To me, that speaks to artistry, like staying true to your vision and your creative, and not really, you know, playing the games and following the path that is laid for you, which I think is signs of a really special artist.
Definitely. And I think speaking on where you come from, like that's been a theme with, I think, everything that's worked in recent months, even like Bad Bunny, obviously talking about Puerto Rico, Rema going back to his culture, Kendrick focusing on California and that sound, even Drake and Party with like trying to do the whole Canada where they come from thing. Like I think everyone is trying to tap into just that thing that they could speak to in the most true way. And it's interesting because it's natural for them, but us as outsiders, we're hearing a new story now and a new sound. Like, you know, I think that's been like, we, you know, have talked about why there's been a disconnect in how we like see the Bad Bunny album a little bit. Cause for him, he could hear that music and be like, oh, I grew up on this. I have a million different examples of this sound. So like, maybe this isn't my favorite version of this, or maybe this isn't the music that I'm used to. But for me, this is a whole new world. So you could play this and it could be the most basic sounding salsa song, but I've never heard a salsa song before. So this is like brand new, exciting stuff for me, you know? So it does kind of bring in the rest of the world and the more casual listener into something that is such a major part of who makes their favorite artist who they are. Awesome, man. What do you think has kind of been the disconnect with rap music recently a little bit? Because I think you've been a part of YSL, Opium, two of the last movements on a large scale that I feel like have kind of revitalized rap, kept it interesting, kept the youth super excited about it. But for me, I feel like there's a bit of a lull because I feel like everyone is trying to do this Opium sound, but what's the next wave? What's going to kind of re-energize the genre again?
I mean, I don't think there's everybody trying to do the Opium wave, you know. I feel like there's so many different pockets of like hip hop that exist. Like there's the underground, which I could say like, yeah, sure, it's probably like heavily influenced by like that, like pocket, but like I had a conversation with somebody like the other like day or week ago where it was like talking about like, yo, how's rap changed since like the pandemic? You know, I feel like since the pandemic, I feel like there's definitely been like a shift more towards just like, regional sounds, you know? Just like people really like tapping back into like, just like their local community and just like tapping into their like local sounds. And I feel like if anything, like the regional sound has definitely come to the forefront where I feel like prior to the pandemic, there was probably this kind of like the singularity type of thing happening where like a lot of shit was starting to sound the same. But like now I feel like there's so many different pockets where just like you got the Detroit sound, you got like a DMV sound, you got like Slizzy sound, you got the West Coast type of sound that like Kendrick got going on. I feel like, and then like the underground, which is like just internet and like experimental. So just like I feel like there's so many different pockets. If anything, I feel like there was like kind of like that low period, but I feel like that was just like propaganda from whoever it may be, you know, where like they're saying, yo, hip hop is having a bad year, da 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 da. It was like right when it was like the 50th anniversary. I felt like that was definitely like a weird time in the music industry across the board, not just for that genre specifically, but I felt like it was just like a whole bunch of just like weird energy where people were just like, just didn't know what to do. It's like, I feel like outside just opened up back again. And so like tours were popping up, but like artists' tours were getting canceled. And so like, I felt like it was a lot of just readjustments. And so like all that readjustment was just like the discomfort of like people like really trying to figure out what this music industry looks like post-pandemic into the 2020s. But like 2025, I feel like hip hop is in a good place, you know, like albums are going number one. Like Kendrick is dominating the Billboard charts. Like Drake is having his moment. Everybody, I feel like all the conversations prior where it was just like, yo, hip hop is in a dark place. I feel like it's better now, you know? I feel like there's a whole bunch of energy that's happening now that feels a lot more optimistic than like 2 years ago.
I agree with you. And I do think the regional sound is helping because I'm thinking, we've talked about Florida a little bit. Obviously, the Hurricane Wisdoms, Low Shimmies of the world. I think that they're doing a lot for their sound and bringing that to the forefront. In terms of Atlanta, like Nine Vicious, 1300 Saint, the new YSL movement, I like that they're kind of re-energizing a bit of an older sound again. Like Nine Vicious sounds like the best, like thug, like little bro type situation ever. And I love that he be shouting out Keed too as well. Because I feel like Keed was taking the sound in a different direction that he didn't already like. He didn't get to fully see it out. Yeah. So I feel like Nine is kind of like trying to take that and keep going with it. Even out of Chicago, like 13 Degrees.
13 Degrees is fire. Yeah, that's like
13 Degrees
I
is
fuck with
so
his music.
tough,
like
bro.
my homie Isaiah put me onto it, and it's just like I really fuck with his sound because it's like again like really reminds me of like 2010s like rap.
Even the
know,
aesthetic
like the
and
beats,
shit, the snapbacks, Tumblr music and shit. What's up with that wave? Were you on Tumblr when it was a thing?
I mean, I was hip to Tumblr. Like I wasn't like super. Like I had a Tumblr like. And I found it a while ago and I saw like the shit that was going back from 2010s and stuff like that. And even like, I feel like Tumblr's definitely made a comeback. I mean, Destroy Lonely, he uses a Tumblr.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like it just, like, kids that are talking about it now, I feel like they're just students of the game, you know? And just like ASAP, what's his name? ASAP Yams. I mean, like, that's how he blew up the ASAP mob. So just like, if you're hip, it's like, I feel like, again, it's all like the nostalgia of like the 2000s, 2010s of like, these new kids like reviving it, you know? I feel like even recently I've been like just scrolling through Twitter and then like there's been all this like UK like rap talk about the underground. Whoever's pushing that agenda is like doing a good job of it. Cause like I went and listened to like some of the artists and it's like, it's funny cause like they're just reviving like the jerk sound, you know?
100%.
So just like right now, all these like artists popping up is just like they're in their 2000s, 2010s bag, just like they got BlackBerry aesthetics, they got Tumblr,
the
like
early
the old,
like Apple commercial vibes.
Exactly, they got the old internet wave, and to me, I feel like that's every new generation coming about. Like they try to reference the stuff that they were too young to like really like experience. Because like when we were in high school, it was like Joey Badass, like Pro Era, like they were reviving like the 90s. And even like when it was like Chris Brown and Tyga, like that like mixtape, it was like that shit was on some like fucking Kid and Play type shit, like the 90s. So just like Gen Z, like they were born in 2000s, like they were too young to really see all this shit. So it's like now you got like people hopping on like Neptune style ass beats, just like trying to do it. So I just feel like that happens. It's like if you want to predict the future, just like mark where these kids are born and just see what's going on, and that's probably going to be rehashed 20 years later. So like about to start seeing people dressing like it's Karma Loop 2012 type shit, you know, with the 5-panel hats and shit.
I seen someone tweet today about like, yo, like the economy is shit. everybody's forgetting how to dress. Like it's 2008 again. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh yeah, we kind of did reset. So I think we're probably a couple years out from 2012.
Right, man. Just, I'm gonna come out with the Balmain biker, the shits with those Margellas straps. You feel me?
The big pants and everything like that. People are dressing like it is the early 2000s again. Definitely. I know you had a Tumblr.
I didn't.
You weren't a Tumblr kid?
No, I think I was a little too young for that.
No, I barely had. No,
I didn't have social media till late, so I definitely was not in the game. I didn't even have an Instagram, so I was like 15 years old, bro.
I would have been a Tumblr kid if
Yeah,
I was hip. For sure. That's definitely my bag.
A moody Tumblr.
I was on Pinterest.
You was on Pinterest as a youth?
Oh, yeah.
What were you doing on there?
Making boards, pinning pins.
The shit you like to look at?
Mood boarding.
Craziness. Craziness, man. I guess getting out of the music stuff just a little bit that we could talk about if we talk about young bulls. My favorite narrative that I've seen is, so I think we all know that Anthony Edwards doesn't give a fuck about any of this shit. All of his post-game interviews are hilarious. He be cursing, he don't care. But over All-Star Weekend and just kind of this last couple of weeks, I think we kind of dubbed him the face of the NBA, and he officially spoke out against it saying, I don't want any of this. You know, he's been in drama off the court, obviously, and is not, I don't think he's necessarily operated in the way that like a Russell Wilson has when he was about to get the crown, you know, and he was winning all that stuff. Because I think he was
overly
him
to Russell
Wilson.
No.
I'm saying because I'm saying
really funny
because I'm saying like Russell Wilson is someone who's like, oh, I'm a young bull in this. Everyone's fucking with me. Let me make sure that my image is squeaky clean. I don't make any mistakes. I'm going to present myself in a certain type of way. Ant has been the antithesis of that. Turned heel and has been like, yo, I don't give a fuck about this. I'm gonna say what I want. He just got suspended a game for his 16th technical foul. And then what made it more interesting was then LeBron a couple of days ago spoke out and was like, hey, I went through this whole thing and I think he's 100% right. And it's just crazy that a nigga who got chosen one tatted on his back at 16 is like, yo, I get you, bro. You don't have to deal with this. Because that is an unimaginable amount of pressure to put on someone.
Like I don't even really watch sports that much, but like, I mean, I see, like the convos about the like basketball players out now. I mean, I feel like it's just a different generation, you know, like I like the LeBron and all that, you know, just like very different like era like they were coming into where it's like, yeah, they're probably like media trained. It's like, you got to say this, you can't say that. You know, I feel like looking back at that class, like the Anthony Edwards back then was like an AI, you know, like
100%.
There wasn't too many like wild, like people talking out of like pocket, you know, that was like that. But like this day and age, I feel like these younger players, I feel like, I don't know, it's like they got a crazy digital footprint. It's just like, just like, it's like no different than like what's happening. And just like, I guess like even on some celebrity like culture type shit where just like, you got like the old guard of like celebrities where like you only see them when they're like doing a movie. But like nowadays you got like these influencers that are always in your face. It's just different, you know?
Yeah, you can
but
see
like, I would say the younger players just, they don't give a fuck. They're fried, super fried, man.
They're fried. They fucking 40-year-old IG hoes and getting them pregnant. Like,
see, I was surprised that they're still pushing that narrative after that whole thing. Because that was when I was like, okay, maybe this is moving into Ja territory where they don't necessarily want to champion him anymore.
Well, he did it for the second time. And that's what I think Jeff Teague spoke out about it. Another former NBA player. He was like, yo, Ant, you got to be careful, dog. Because they gave you a slap on the wrist the first time. And again, like, I think what Ja did is a little bit different, obviously, when you bring in weapons and shit like that and guns. You know, the NBA ain't playing that. Anthony Edwards just can't seem to not get women pregnant whenever he meets up with them. So the third time that I think this nigga has had a baby mama come out and be like, yo, you made me get an abortion, all this shit like that. And then on top of that, he's getting the technical fouls. And now he's doing the I don't want to be the face of the league thing. Eventually, he's like, people are going to start pulling back. And
I mean, how old is he? How old is he? I mean, how long has he even been in the league?
He's 23 years old.
23?
I think this is year
23.
5.
Do you imagine getting all that money?
Oh, I'm
at 23. It's like,
I'm saying whatever the fuck I want. Niggas because don't let you be 23 and cold.
Right.
Like 23 and that nigga, 23 and you pulling up on Obama saying, yo, like you can't really fuck with me. Like he's, yeah.
I mean, I don't know why he doesn't want the title. To be honest, I think if you're like that, you should hold it.
So that's what I kind of wanted to get into with y'all. Y'all are in this position. Is that something that you're turning away from or something that you're embracing? Like you're him, supreme bucket getter, whatever. Even you could take it into music. You know what I mean? You the nigga with the poppin' album. You can't seem to miss right now. Do you want the pressure of everyone dubbing you as the next one, the one who's supposed to carry the torch? Or do you kind of be like, yo, let me do my own thing. Don't impose your expectations on me.
I mean, it's like, what do you care about, right? Like, I feel like they put that on LeBron and like he had to be perfect since day one. You know what I'm saying? Even when he had like, and I feel like it's weird because again, I'm not a big hoop fan, but I do feel like it's weird. Like when you accept that title and when you accept that narrative about yourself, like everything about you gets dissected from like everything that like when you practice, what you wear, what your family's doing. You know what I'm saying? I think LeBron was somebody that embraced that.
He was
like
built
even
for
from
it.
the start, he was built for it. I think Ant seems like he's got a lot of shit going on in his personal life, and he's also like not trying to be constrained by that title. You know what I mean? I feel like that's more for like the LeBrons and Steph Currys, the people that are like, yeah, I'll accept it because I'll be what the league's definition of black excellence is. But I feel like Ant is just on his own wave.
But like
I just feel like he's just that young guy, you know, like he's 23. Like how long has he been playing in the league?
5 years.
5 years. I mean, shit. Like I feel like for him, that's probably not like where his head's at or like what he's trying to do. Like he probably seen like what it like seeing like a LeBron like being the face of the NBA. I don't feel like everybody's cut to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like sometimes like some people just want to play ball, like get their money, do a couple endorsements, but it's just like, you know, like a Marshawn Lynch type of thing, you know?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Everything makes a lot more sense when you hear him talk about KD.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like he don't want to be LeBron. He wants to be KD.
Mm-hmm.
He's fine without being the face of the league, just being what you said, supreme bucket getter, one of the best in the league. But he don't need all the commercials. He don't need all the pressure. But I think if you want to be the best, to me, if you want to be the greatest, you have to hold that. Because KD, we talked about it on the last pod, nobody's coming on here and saying he's the greatest basketball player ever. Top 10 without a doubt. You know what I mean? But like, if you want to be LeBron, Michael, one of them, you have to embrace that challenge and take it head on.
I would think that, but then I was thinking that, but then like he's in the commercials. The Adidas campaign and the money that they're spending behind him is crazy. That nigga's in a Sprite commercial with Kevin Garnett. Like Ant has been extremely front facing. Well, I think the difference is a little bit of foresight. Like I think that we speak on LeBron and what he's done, and we don't really account for how rare and wild someone at such a young age processing the moment and understanding just how precious what they had in front of him was. Because I think we see it with artists all the time, you know, like when an artist is hot, everything that they're doing seems to be hitting. They're making crazy money. I feel like for them, they almost could take it for granted sometimes, like all young people would. I think I would probably do the same thing, you know, like when you talk about, people talk about Fetty Wap all the time. And when he was making hit after hit after hit, he thought the money was going to keep coming. So he was spending a bunch of money on his crew and all of his people and taking care of all these people. And then when the money stopped, he was kind of blindsided and all these people left him. Whereas someone like, crazy, whereas someone like LeBron was like, yo, I'm only 18 years old, but I know what's in front of me, the opportunity I have in front of me. So let me really take time with everything I do, how I'm perceived out in the public. Because Steph was raised by an NBA player.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense why he moves the way he moves, because he had that training from a very, very young age. It's like LeBron, he doesn't come from that. Single parent household in the projects. Like he really had to figure this shit out for himself and change the lives of all of his people and all of the whole league, basically saved the league after Kobe and shit like that.
Yeah, I think Ant's just talking. Now that we're talking about it, I think he's just chatting, and I think he did so not because of the face of the NBA comparisons and comments, but more the Michael Jordan comparisons and comments.
I think he felt the pressure.
I think that's one that you dead. When people are putting your game film up next to Michael Jordan's and saying, look, they play the exact same. This kid looks like him. The ages line up where if Jordan had an affair, this could be his kid. You know what I mean? Like they're doing all this wild shit. That's one that I'm not mad at you deading. Like you don't want to be constantly compared to another player.
Although I do like that comparison after watching the Jordan doc, because I feel like the way that they talk shit and low-key the way they hoop is... Bro. Now that I think, because people... we talk about KD and obviously Ant looks up to KD. But Jordan is probably a better comparison.
It's an exact comparison.
It's uncanny.
You can't run from it. But again, like being around the same age as Ant, like if niggas were putting all that pressure on me to perform every single day for 82 games, and he's doing it 90% of the time, the nigga's showing out. But eventually that's gonna get to you. You might just be like, yo, fuck, like I'm just trying to go out there and do my job. Y'all niggas is doing all this extra shit, digging into who I'm dating, all this other, like leave me the fuck alone.
That's a lot. Yeah, just like Yeah, like people just digging into your personal life and like that hitting up on like the timeline. That's a lot. Like that stuff that like LeBron or Kobe or none of them had to deal with like people online getting NBA centelled. You know, this is a whole different era. So just like to be the face of the NBA today, when like everybody could just like tweet their opinion. I mean, it's a lot different back then. It's like LeBron or like and those guys, they just heard it like on the when they're at the games, you know, like just like
Totally.
in the newspaper out,
and
you know,
shit.
in the newspaper. But like you open your phone, they're over here just like pulling up screenshots of whoever IG thought too, he's texting, you know. So just like it's different, you know.
Totally.
Yeah, look what happened to Zion, man.
Oh,
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's a prime example of like all that pressure and like, you know, low key collapsing under it.
Yeah.
I mean, that nigga just has an eating disorder. So, I see niggas say, bro,
Go ahead.
I was just surprised. Niggas said he's 268. This is the lightest he's been in the NBA. That's wild, bro. What
really
the fuck
crazy.
type of Krispy Kremes are you eating every day? This big nigga, let me not though. He balling out. Shout out Zion. You know what
I also forgot how nice that Pelicans team was when AD was there.
Yeah.
I forgot that they were like low-key title contenders before AD got hurt.
Cold, bro.
Yeah.
Cold. When they had him and DeMarcus Cousins, we don't got to get into the hoop corner. You know what I mean? But
Oh yeah.
They was like that for Shirley.
Yeah, last question on Hoop is how do you think Jason Tatum responded to that headline
Which one?
of Ant doesn't want to be the face of the NBA?
He was like, I'll do it. Pick me,
I feel like
please.
he was like kicking
I'll
shit,
be
bro.
the number one, bro.
Come on.
He got LMA already in the tuck, everything. She making songs about this nigga being a good father and shit. He's he might get it off.
No, he won't.
He been hooping it. Let me not, bro.
I
Let me
love
not.
the
I
Jason
believe-
Tatum hate online.
Yo.
I think it's so funny
Yo.
because he's done everything he needs to do. People just don't want to dub him that.
He's the first light skin that I feel like society is just not openly accepted and just falling in love with quickly. Like everyone else has gotten their shit off.
Yeah, again, from an outside perspective, I mean, he just kind of corny. Like, I think that's what it boils down to. It's like nobody wants that to be the face of the NBA. No one wants that to be like their GOAT.
I was gonna say that. nigga
Besides
be trying-
Marvin.
he just be feeding for a moment, bro. But then I'm like, I don't know what I would say. Like, you win a championship. What's the first thing you say? This nigga said, "We did it." Yeah, like, I don't know if I'm coming up with something clever off that.
This one's for you, Bean.
Oh my god, bro. Yeah. Shout out him though. Okay, I think that's basically everything. Yeah, man. We appreciate you for coming through.
No doubt.
Where could the
No
people
doubt.
tap in with you? I mean, I know you're not on the internet. You want to give your IG to the people, anything, any last messages for anybody?
Any last messages? Man, which camera do I point at?
Get them right
Go
here.
right
Oh, yeah,
here,
you're
yeah.
right there, right here.
Shit, I don't got no last message.
Man,
Yeah, shout out. This was cool though. This was fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all. You know, keep on doing it. Yeah, that's it.
shout out Stan Vision, man. We
Thanks,
appreciate y'all for watching,
No
man.
problem.
O'Shea got another unk on the pod, man.
That's crazy. He's like our unk.
Yeah, that's crazy.
this is good.
It's the blind leading the blind out here. Man. That's crazy.
I swear, we figuring it out. Make sure to tap in with
You're
your
the
boys.
unk in this group. That's
Yes,
crazy.
nigga,
Yeah,
what? This is my
unfortunately.
bro. We young bulls.
About to be 28 on March 8th, man.
Man, wrap it up, man. Go start a family. Fuck all the podcast.
No cap. This
Yo,
nigga speaking on a mic on a
Nah,
Sunday
niggas
night.
started
Exactly,
podcasts
bro.
instead of families now.
Exactly. That's it, man. Exactly. That's my last. Put all the podcast mics away. Go start a family. You know, this shit is getting spooky out here, man. Go start a family. Go buy a home. Put away the DJ equipment. Go to Home Depot. You know, go learn some skills.
We need doctors,
We need doctors. We need plumbers.
teachers.
We can't do shit with your shitty ass transition of like Saw Baby into Boys to Men. We can't be doing that no more, man. We need real fucking professions out here. But
know
other
we-
than that, shout out to y'all.
Appreciate you, man. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yeah.
Catch y'all next one, man. Peace.